It's funny, is it? I really can't.
Anyway, but first, how can it be fair that a couple will shortly be taking part in an inquest into their son's death without the free legal representation that they need?
Well, particularly when some of those they hold responsible for it can use lawyers paid for by the taxpayer. Nick Wallace has the story.
2 years ago, the Thames flooded dozens of homes at Chertsey in Surrey. In most cases, the damage was limited to property and possessions, but not in this house.
It was a beautiful, beautiful home.
Nicole Bangbola and her family were at home when their basement flooded. What happened that night haunts her.
Every time it rains, that deep sense of fear is there.
That night, she found her 7-year-old son, Zain, collapsed, overcome by fumes. Paramedics found her husband, Kai, unconscious. They were all taken to hospital. Kai was left paralysed, but before dawn, Zain died.
When Zain died, we prayed so hard that we wouldn't survive. It would have been kind if we hadn't, but we did. We just need to ensure that this never happens again to any other family.
Nobody deserves to see their child in a special toxic body bag.
The initial post-mortem into Zain's death proved inconclusive. Public Health England said its specialist hazmat teams had found hydrogen cyanide in the home, but toxicology tests later said carbon monoxide was probably responsible for Zain's death. Police seized a petrol-powered floodwater pump the couple had hired. For a year, no one could return to the house. When the couple bought it 12 years ago, legal searches flagged up no issues with the surrounding land. But 5 years on, this lockkeeper's cottage was built next door, meaning fresh searches.
What we didn't know until the report in 2011 was that this field was a landfill site from 1936.
It's well known that landfill sites can produce toxic gases as bacteria break down organic waste. Hospital blood tests revealed hydrogen cyanide present in the whole family. They believed this lethal gas was carried into their home from the old landfill site by the floodwater.
25,000 parts per million hydrogen cyanide was detected by the special incident crews, and that was in our home.
How much carbon monoxide was found in your home?
Nil across 4 sweeps, nil.
The Environment Agency, local council and police wouldn't comment on the issue of carbon monoxide. However, the council did tell us there was no evidence to link Zain's death and landfill. They said tests of the floodwater showed it to be clean river water.
Just how Zain came to die and how his father Kai was paralysed is now the focus of a legal battle which will be played out at Zain's inquest. But it's a fight which, according to his parents, is taking place on unequal terms.
You can see here these boxes. They represent the bundle of evidence that we're expected to use in Zain's inquest. There's huge amounts of it, 25 files, yet we have been refused legal aid. We, as defenceless parents, are expected to go against QCs, mostly funded out of the public's expense, whilst we are unfunded and unrepresented. This is a disgrace.
Why was it that you weren't given legal aid?
We were not given legal aid on the grounds of it is not of significant wider public interest. The coroner wrote to the legal aid agency and said that absolutely it is of wider public interest.
So at the inquest that will determine how their son died, the couple will have to argue their case themselves and face barristers from organisations including the Environment Agency, whose legal bills are paid by public funds. In a bid to get the decision reversed, they're meeting Shadow Home Secretary Andy Burnham at Portcullis House, opposite the House of Commons. With them is Deborah Coles from the charity Inquest.
It is completely mystifying to me how this family have been denied legal aid. There is exceptional public funding available for families to be represented at inquests involving very complex, difficult issues.
Andy Burnham championed the cause of the Hillsborough families in their battle with the authorities for a second inquiry.
It cannot be right that public bodies spend public money like water protecting themselves and hiring the best QCs when ordinary families are left to fend for themselves in the courtroom. I have said to them, together with the former Director of Public Prosecutions, Keir Starmer, he and I will write to the Justice Secretary today to say that this injustice of them not having legal representation must be immediately corrected.
The couple can only wait and hope for a change of heart before the inquest.
Well, Nick is here with us now. It goes without saying, so many people are going to feel an enormous amount of sympathy for the family there. But it is true, isn't it, that most cases, as far as inquests are concerned, they don't qualify for legal aid?
Yeah, it's important to make that distinction. An inquest is held in a coroner's court, but it's not meant to be adversarial and it's not a trial. The job of the coroner is, through the examination of evidence and through the questioning of witnesses, to come to a conclusion about what caused someone's death. And the idea is that people are understanding of the language that is used in court, and there aren't too many battles in between people as to what did or didn't go wrong. So that's what the job of the coroner is, and most families don't have legal representation, so it's only in exceptional circumstances that any family would be granted legal aid to get that representation, and only if it's in the public interest.
OK, and you talk about public interest, we heard about it in the film. How do they define public interest then?
Well, the law states that legal aid will be offered at an inquest if the inquest is expected to examine dangerous practices, systematic failings or other significant risks to life, health and safety, which the Bangbolas clearly believe that in Zane's case will be subjects that are going to get covered. Now, added to that, in Zane's inquest, as we heard in the film, every other interested party will have legal representation. That's the firm who hired the Bangbolas the petrol pump, the company which owns the former landfill site next to their home, Spelthorne Borough Council, the Environment Agency, even the coroner himself has asked for a barrister to inform him on points of law.
And what's the situation with Andy Burnham's involvement now, then? What's going to be happening now?
Well, as you heard, the Shadow Home Secretary said that he was going to be writing to Michael Gove, the Secretary of State for Justice, to ask the Legal Aid Agency to reconsider that decision. Now, the Bangbolas have told us that the Legal Aid Agency got in touch with them and asked them to reapply for legal aid. The Legal Aid Agency have confirmed that they are now considering a second application, but they haven't made a decision as yet. They're going to have to hurry up. The inquest starts a week on Monday.
Sounds positive, though.
Yeah, they've asked them to reapply, yeah.
OK, thank you, Nick.